So today I thought that I would go ahead and make a video in regards to this binder. So over the last couple of days, over this past week, I've been working on setting up this binder pretty much to sum up all of the things that I have accumulated in multiple planners. And I really just wanted a spot where everything was in one, and so that's what came out of this project. So this project pretty much stemmed from me not being very happy with my systems and really just frustrated with, you know, how things have evolved. So I am using an A5 bullet journal, which is a Moleskine expanded in grid, and then I also incorporated my personal rings, which has some dated inserts. So I will kind of just talk very quickly through like my whole thought process behind it, and yeah, hopefully I can explain it to a way that you guys can understand. So I created this binder, and it is a chunky one, a chunky binder, because there were a lot of areas in my life that I really wanted. In my A5 bullet journal, I have, you know, some things that I wanted to keep track with, but there were things in here that I just did not fully agree with. I did not like, and I do not like, drawing out monthly layouts. So I thought, okay, well, if I do a printable, that would alleviate me having to draw this out. But at the same time, I thought about bulking this up. And so I just told myself, you know, like the printables aren't going to bulk it up so much that I'm not going to be able to close this cover. But I think that if I did printables for just about everything, like the weeklies and the monthlies and then some other stuff that I really wanted to have in here, that is going to bulk this up a whole lot. So I did go ahead and print out monthly calendars for the rest of the year to use in my bullet journal, and I will still use my bullet journal because I just like the ease and the flexibility of being able to create a master to-do list that is ongoing. There's no commitment to this. It's not dated, so I can jump around and do as I want with the pages. So this I will definitely keep in the system, because this is like, for me, a brain dump of just everything that I want to get done in a day. I can do it on either page. I can make changes and all that kinds of stuff that I need to in here freely. So this will stay in the lineup. However, because I wasn't 100% okay with this, I still was craving, you know, like a place where everything could be, and that's again what stemmed the A5 ring binder. So once I kind of got frustrated with drawing out everything in here, mind you, I've alleviated the biggest stressor for me, which is drawing out monthlies. The weekly layout is the next thing that I'm trying to figure out without bulking up the planner so much. But until I get to a point where I can use, you know, like these systems in a way that it doesn't feel so stressed out, I'm still working through my 2022 setup. So again, I incorporated my personal rings. I really wanted a timed system. I really wanted a system that was already dated for me. I had mentioned using my Moleskine daily planner. However, it initially ended up being something more along the lines of a journal or a memory planner. And not to say that I don't love my Passport Traveler's Notebook setup, but it just was not working for me in the terms of what I needed it to be at this moment. So I still use it as a memory journal. I'm not using it every day. It's not something that I'm grabbing every day, but I do grab it and I do update it more along the lines of like just a memory keeper. But in terms of like my A5 bullet journal and personal rings, these are things that I tend to grab more frequently. I haven't been in it for a day, 2 days actually, because I just haven't had a whole lot going on, and usually I don't try to fill out pages that don't have anything going on really, so they just end up blank. But this planner, and I will do a full walkthrough of this at a later date, but this planner has many sections. So just to briefly go through it, there's a monthly, there is tracking, there's a small note section, there's meal planning, appointments, there's a monthly plan spread in here, there is a week on a page, and then there is a day on 2 pages in here. And so pretty much this has sort of helped with categorizing some events and some important tasks that have happened in my life. So maybe something house related or family related has popped up, or something personal pertaining to just me pops up and I need to do something. This system comes in handy for that because everything is dated already. And so I literally can just plug in the information. And then when I do my bullet journal, this gives me a free hand to do my spreads how I need them to be, so that they work for me throughout the month or the week or the year. And when I'm in here, this allows me to kind of pre-plan or pre-schedule or lay out things according to how I need them to be throughout the day. So everything is timed in here. Even the weeklies are sort of like timed in a sense, and these monthly plan sheets are sort of timed as well, because on the back of them you can definitely time some things. But this spread is basically to break down your week in a goal and in tasks, so mainly like the important tasks. And so this just helps me focus on things that I need to get done during the week. They don't necessarily have an assigned day, but it's just basic things that need to get done during the week, and I put those at the forefront. So this system helps me in some areas of my life, but again, this does not solve all of my problems. So yeah, like I have a day on 2 pages. And usually I will just write out like the routines. I think I mentioned this in the previous video, but I usually just write out like the routines. Now the only difference between my A5 bullet journal and this is that I'm not doing the running to-do list here. It's mainly just like a list of things that I just need to get done in this particular day. And then I'll just work from that list. But this has helped me a lot. But again, I was not exactly happy with this system, and so that's what drew me to creating the A5. So this year I have created some areas, or thrived on having some things in place of my systems to kind of help me with other things in my life. And so I really rely on tracking this year, and I've relied on it a lot. I'm very forgetful, and I've relied on so many different areas of things, and quite frankly I'm just tired of drawing them out, and I'm tired of trying to remember which book I put it in. And so I just wanted a space that had everything that I needed. So this A5 binder is chunky because it contains a lot of information. This is the first time that I ever, and I do mean ever, sat down and purchased printables and printed every single thing and cut it and punched it. And mind you, I do not have a 6-ring hole punch. I have a single hole punch, and I had to punch all of my inserts. I had used a rotary blade to cut everything, and a ruler, and I laminated all of these little printable dashboards or printable dividers. So I put a lot of work into this, and I don't know if I will actually like it, but I'm excited to start it for March. So let me just break down the sections that are in here. So first thing is an anxiety planner. Second, I believe, is, so I'll just open it up. So the first section is an anxiety planner, and then besides that is finances. The next is fitness goals, and this is the divider for that. I'm just going to open this up just a little bit. And then after fitness goals, there's another divider that says don't stop until you're proud, which I thought was fitting. And this is the grocery section, so meal planning section. And you'll notice that these sections are pretty thick, and I'll explain them shortly. And then this goes into the actual planner. So the actual planner itself is a monthly with a project page that I printed on the back. They come single, but I wanted to save space for projects, because if I don't use the project page, then I won't feel bad because I wouldn't have wasted a page because I'm using the monthly. But if I do want to use the project for the month, then at least the page is here for me to do it. So that was my thought process behind it. And then I have all of the weeks. These are a week on one page. And this insert, so I did not look at anyone familiar. I really just went on Etsy and just typed in, you know, like printable inserts. I don't know too many shops, and I don't know, you know, where everyone's going to get their printables and stuff. So for me, I just went straight to Etsy, and Etsy was super easy and convenient. So I found this printable, which was actually similar to how I do my weeklies in my A5 bullet journal, and that's exactly what I was going for. So my weekly spreads, and I think I shared this before, my weekly spreads is literally a week spread across 2 pages. But that is only because I have a note section, and then I have these trackers here, which I track everything. This is why I don't want to get rid of my A5, because it does carry so much of the stuff that I like, and I like being able to change out this layout to suit my needs when I need it to be changed. And then I have this, which is basically my A5 bullet journal, but just shrunken. So this is my week on a page, like I like. I have a small to-do section for the week, which I usually write like things that I need to get done in the note sections of my weekly spreads. I have a small habit tracker. This isn't as extensive as my trackers that I have in my weekly section, but then again, that is why I have these other areas in this binder to kind of combat that. And then you have weekly goals, which I never had, but this insert has it. So after the weeklies, I have a day on one page, which break down some areas of the day. So like priorities, notes, correspondence, exercise meals, today's accomplishments, and your to-dos. So although I won't do all of my planning in here, but this is just a way for me to keep everything cohesive, so that at least everything now is in one spot. This is more of the lines of a home binder. It's everything in one spot, and now when I sit down and actually figure out where I'm pre-planning or I'm doing something, I can now do it all in here and then do what I need to do in my bullet journals and other planners, so that everything still flows according to how I need it to flow. So bullet journal could be for other areas of my life, the flexibility aspect, and then I have my timed planner for when I really need that schedule, really need to do like some scheduling out. And then I have this, which has everything, and this will include like more than just myself. This will include everyone's task. So to go back into the front, I actually added an anxiety tracker because I've taken to journaling very heavily in the last couple of months. And as I get closer to my 30th birthday, which is this month, I'm getting really antsy and anxious about turning 30. Something about getting older kind of freaks me out and scares me in a sense. I've just had a son. I'm not the happiest in my life. I'm married and I just had a son, and I feel like I should be, but I'm really not at my happiest. And so I was really just journaling about all of these thoughts, and I really wanted somewhere where I could come and kind of break down some of the thoughts that I was having and try to figure out like what's the root problem of why I'm having these thoughts. So I figured I would print out an anxiety workbook to kind of just help me sort through these things. I know that having, you know, like a therapist is more suitable, but sometimes I really just need to sort down and talk my problems out on paper and try to figure out, okay, what's my biggest problem and why am I so anxious about this? And I'm pretty good at managing my mental health. I do have a history of depression, so I'm pretty good at handling that, but I thought that this would be good to help me work through some of the problems that I may find are hard. So it's a 30-day planner pretty much, and again, it's some inserts in here that I'll have to print out, like the weekly review. So like, this is today's affirmation, how I'm feeling, top 3 tasks, grounding activities for morning, noon, and evening, and then you can write a note, and it's Monday through Friday for that. And then you have a daily tracker. This just goes over like how you're feeling and what were you doing when you were feeling that way, and so on. And then you have a thought patterns page. You also have a things that helped page, so maybe there's something special that helps you cope. And then you have a mindfulness wheel, and I won't go through every single page, but it's pretty much a workbook to help you break down like your thoughts, your moods. So it's a dysfunctional thought record, in which I thought was so helpful because I often have, you know, negativity in my mind a lot. I think about negative things before I think of the positive, and that's a really bad habit to have. And so I thought that this would be helpful so that I can see like how often I'm doing that. And then you have some trackers in here for behavior and anxiety and anxious or anxiety trackers. So these are technically the same thing, but this is different than this one. Then you have a mood chart, hygiene tracker, medication tracker, weekly gratitude, daily self-care, daily anxiety. So this was the anxiety one that I was referencing. And then you have another behavior sort of tracker. And it's just pretty much a workbook for you to sort through like all your problems. And then again, at the end, you have some sleep trackers, because sleep also goes hand in hand with your mood and your thoughts. I don't need to go through the finance section. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I just have, you know, like a couple of sheets in here for a couple of months. And then I have blank paper in here because I don't know about you, but blank paper seems to be something that I gravitate to when I'm doing math. I don't usually like to write on graph or lined paper when I'm doing math problems, but blank paper seems to be my go-to because you can just write wherever and not feel incredibly bad about it. So I have that in there for scratch. I started working out. I'm not good at the schedule of working out right now, but I have this in here for motivation purposes and to hold myself accountable. So I really want to get my baby weight off and some weight that I had before pregnancy. I really want to get all of that stuff off. So I'm gonna keep track of like all my progress in here. Really, it's just like your fitness goals. You can put a picture of before and after here. I will do this after this video because I don't want to show the world my body at this point right now. Not that it's really bad, but it's just not to my standards. And then you have like your weekly fitness. Again, these are some inserts that I may just have to reprint every week, but these things are in here. Like you have daily fitness. Some of them I have decided to kind of just skip over and maybe just try out once just to see if I like the insert. This just gives me an idea of how I want to use the workbook. You have a 30-day challenge page. And then this workbook comes with all of these monthlies pretty much. So, or is that the meal one? Okay, so anyway, you can do this per month. So this is another sheet that you would have to print out. So you can write down your entire month of workouts. You have your measurements, which I think I might take out because I don't really care to share my measurements. You have a weight loss tracker. A different kind of measurement tracker. So there's a couple of different ones in here for you to try out, and I thought that I would just try out every one of them just to see which ones I really like the most. You have a strength training. I think I may take that out. And then you have a vitamin supplement, which you guys know I track my medications and vitamins daily in here. And then you have a workout log, habit tracker, a period tracker, and then you have your reflection pages. And this is literally the same thing. It's just, you know, a reflection page. I won't go too in depth of, you know, like the planning section because I literally just showed it to you guys. But the last big section that I really wanted in here was meal planning. So I figured that if I'm going to do the whole workout thing, that I'm going to take meal planning more serious. I did do meal planning when I was pregnant, and I took it very, very serious because I was gestational diabetic. And I will agree and admit to that since having my son and not being diabetic anymore, I have kind of slacked off a lot, and I've ate horribly, and my body is feeling it. I'm feeling it on top of all of the baby weight. And at this point, I just want to make bigger changes in my life before, you know, I really do get diagnosed as diabetic. So I figure now is a good time. I'm at a good, you know, time in my life of just having the baby and trying to now incorporate activities that get my body moving, that it would be a great time to jumpstart and get on track with eating right. So I have like this grocery list. So this is like an entire set, and it's like a grocery list, so you can write down like your grocery list. Our grocery list never really changes too often, but this could be used as reference for how I want to do the grocery list. Then you have a fridge inventory, which would be very helpful for us because we often buy the same things 2 or 3 times and we already have it in our fridge, and sometimes we don't know if we have it, or we don't know if it is expired. So having a fridge inventory will be good because there's a product quantity and use by date, which is always helpful for us. Then you have a pantry inventory, same thing with the freezer. We never know what's in there, and yeah. And then I only have one of these in here, but it's a recipe card, and I thought this was so incredibly helpful because when I was diabetic, I had a app that was given to me by my nutritionist, which had a bunch of great recipes in there for low carb, low sugar sort of thing, and I really liked some of them, and I tried to print some of them out to be A5 size so that I had them in here as well. But I'm not really keen on our printer, and it doesn't really adjust well And so, yeah, it just didn't work out with me trying to print it. So what I'm going to do is just print out a bunch of these recipe cards for the recipes that I already have and just copy them in here so that I have a physical copy and I'm not reliant on holding on to this digital copy in my phone, because I often go through and just delete a bunch of stuff, and I would hate to delete the recipe and not have a backup copy of it. So yeah, that's that. And then you have meal ideas, which I thought is helpful because I'm always thinking of things we could eat, because I get tired of the same things all the time. Favorite foods. And then you have a grocery list, which is very helpful because oftentimes when I'm making my grocery list, I never can think of like all of the vegetables and things like that. So having this helps a whole lot. And there's 2 pages of it. And then really the rest of this is just all monthly. And I think this is helpful because now, see, you can put like all your meals in the month, and then you can put like the things you want to try for breakfast, lunch, and dinners down at the bottom. So again, super duper helpful section. In my personal rings, I do have a meal planning insert from Filofax. I had got it when I was pregnant. It's a meal planner insert too. It's just a weekly one that breaks it down into breakfast, or breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Monday through Sunday. And then it has like this teeny tiny little spot down at the bottom for snacks, which isn't really helpful if you are fixing multiple different kinds of snacks. On the back of it though, it does have like a grocery list, and then you have notes, which is helpful. I think this insert would be more helpful in the lines of, you know, I've already done the meal planning for the week, and now I just need to put it in here so that this is easier to take with me than this, because this is relatively large and heavy, and this is a little bit easier to take with me, and already see what we're eating, you know, for the week. So, again, the A5 binder was really just to sum up some of the things that I had in multiple places. I now have everything in one. So I'm not using 55 different planners anymore. Everything is pretty much in the same spot. I will say that each of the dailies or each monthly is split up into a month with project, week, and dailies. And then after all of the dailies for that month, I do have, if I can get there, after the dailies for every month, I do have note paper at the end of it, because if you've noticed, I don't really have a note section in here at all. So every month just has a couple of pages of notes. There's like 10 pages in each section. This paper is pretty thick, and it makes it look like there's more than what it is, but there's really only a couple of sheets in each month. And that's so I can take my notes for that month, and then everything stays together, and I don't have to worry about shuffling through a bunch of different things, because this is all one month. So notes, daily, weekly, monthly, and projects. So this is entire month. And I did that for every single month, although I only have 3 months that actually have daily pages. So I will have to print out the rest of the year if I continue to stick with this. But I'm going to use the first 3 months, and then when I get to the 3rd month, I'll start printing out the rest of the daily pages, and so on. But I thought this was a super helpful setup. Again, I created this out of frustration for my system, because I don't know, my systems just wasn't working for me, and a month in, not even a month in, I was already changing stuff. And so I really just wanted something that would work, and so that's where this came from. I usually don't go through deco at all. I don't have any deco in here whatsoever, but I found it incredibly easy to just buy printables and just print like I always wanted like quote cards to go in these little sections, but I never had anything like this. And you can actually find printables for this, which I did not know that you could. So I will say that this is probably the best thing that I found. I do wish I had different kind of paper, but yeah, that's neither here or there. And I do wish my printer had some color in it, because right now it's just black ink in there, hence for all the black and white. But black and white goes great with this. But yeah, that is my A5 binder. It took me a while to set it up, and it's super chunky. There's a lot of stuff going on in here. I have the whole year in here, like I said, but I don't have the whole year of dailies. It's really just the weeklies and monthlies with notes. But as I get further into the binder, I will definitely put in the rest of the daily pages. I do have leftover daily pages in the back because I had printed out a bunch of them, but I didn't actually have enough for an entire month. So when I get to wherever I need the daily pages, I will just pull from the back and then print what I need. But I put them in here so that I wouldn't lose them, because as of right now, I don't really have any space to archive anything, and I'm kind of working on that. But that is my planner, and I hope you guys enjoyed my little updated explanation of, like, you know, why I created this and what I'm up to and things like that. I do have another video lined up where I want to show this bad guy. I'll just give you a sneak preview that it's a Stology, it's a B6ology cut down. So I will just give that little snippet. This is going to be in another video about my whole explanation for this, but I'm not done setting this up. And so I will share that at another date. But yeah, guys, that's all that I have for you, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. And if you like the video, I just ask that you just hit the like button. That helps me know what videos you guys like and prefer to see more of. And anyone who's new, I welcome you. I'm so glad that you decided to join. And as always, guys, I thank you so much. I love you so much, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.
피냐콜라다 알코올 sippin 너의 피부색처럼 drippin 지금 내 핸드폰에 비친 네 모습에 나는 trippin 피냐콜라다 알코올 sippin